Yeah, this is Point Blizzy coming in on the VI, you know what I'm saying? Coming in on the facts, the crackbacks, the heat from the street, the flow from the barrio, you know what I'm saying? Coming in from PBNN, Point Black, National News, the late and the great edition, and the ghetto edition as well, as we see. You know what I'm saying? We coming with the facts, the crackbacks, and the boom bit to that line as lives. This is PBN and Point Black National News, the late and the great edition, because this is what we must do. You see what I'm saying? In its fullness, we've got to do what we got to do to secure the nation's people and the people of the nations to understand the fight that is going on earth that has been going on for quite a while. You know what I'm saying? One of the things we were looking at is the Kyrie Irving situation. Now, Kyrie Irving seems to have his own understanding and his own belief. So have all other people. So, for Kyrie Irving to be called an anti-Semitic because he believes in something that he wants to exalt or believe in is his right to do so, and no one to tell him that he's not, because he makes a claim based on not anti-Semitic, but a claim based on scientific. This is what we must understand. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to make it out as if he might be saying something based on this and the third and that. But if he's saying that this is his belief as far as the cultural understanding of his geographic understanding, of his scientific or genetic understanding, then we understand exactly where he's coming from, and this is what must be proven. Too long people have ran on our card. Too long, and still now, pulling out the black card every time we turn around. Same thing we see going on that we're going to be speaking about coming up about a war that seems to be very vulgar and very conjugal based on the fact of geographic, or we should say, geographic, you know what I'm saying, graphical understanding. And we're going to get to that. But at the same time, when we're speaking about Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, number one dribbler there, brother. You know what I'm saying? The beast at handling that ball. He should have a right to say what he wants to say. And if so, each one must prove each other wrong or right. And that must not be done by an argument or by the fact that he said it because he's under some kind of contract or some bullshit with these deep state suckers. You know what I'm saying? And he has to be put into a position that he has to say something, then he has to turn around and apologize, and he shouldn't have to apologize because either side, again, must prove it. You see what I'm saying? It is one thing for me to say that I am the true something of the true of this. And there's another group to say the same thing and has been running that for a very long time now, to the point that people truly believe that that is what it is. But it is not. It was all set up in a way to make it look like that's what it is, based on even its geographical setting up of its own, calling it a state. But at the same time, we see that black people especially, and white people especially, are going to have to understand now that what you were told is not always true. What they have fought for and put forward as to what they say they do or they are must now be tested and put to the test to prove that if it is wrong or right, or if it is the trueness of what it say it is. Kyrie Irving have a right to speak his own mind and his own belief. Like I said, either side should prove their query. You know what I'm saying? Not just pick on Kyrie Irving just because he signed the contract. You know what I'm saying? So this is Point Black saying, we need to start looking at a more unifitical understanding. But like I said, we don't all have to live in each other's backyard or neighborhood or whatever the bullshit they want to say is a gated community. Who gives a flying crap? But we have to start now to understand that in a unifitical way is a mind frame of understanding that when we meet or we call a meeting or we come together in the meeting, we all arrive and we all be there to participate in the understanding of what it is we must fight against. Because the other side of things is they've been fighting against they've been fighting to promote their life for so long, and actually think that they're living the life for so long and reaping all the golds and the diamonds and the pearls and the jewels and the nuggets and the order of fries. You know what I'm saying? And getting the rich off of someone else's back. We must look at this now because it's very important. This is the same game that the demon Democrats play. You see what I'm saying? They play on generation and what we call time. In other words, what I mean is one time you could have a group of people that is alive at the moment, at the time, but then all is done to them in a way that now the next generation of their children are still in the same position that their parents were in. And born in that, they know nothing else. So therefore, they can be easily lied to, manipulated, and conned off into believing something that is not true. And even if they don't believe it's true, no matter what the pressure or the fight is upon their neck, they still will eventually have to accede to whatever it is that is being pushed down their throat, or else bear the consequences of death. So we must understand that over generation and time and generation and time and generation and time and generation after generation comes down to the generation of your time. Your time was not their time. So you're born in a generation of time that if you're not aware of the knowledge, the understanding, and the research in its fullness thereof, geographically, worldwide, globally, all that land, color, land culture, who was here based on the cultural understanding first, and so on, and making the measures of different things that show that which they say it is, this is not, and proving this wrong and proving it right. That is science. You never want to be absolutely right, because if you're absolutely right, then that means you may have gotten a sure shot. But there is always a point that would come along where there would be another point that may challenge your point, that your point may be just a part of the puzzle. So one cannot be ignorant to understanding the cultural understanding and the bloodline that be. So this is saying straight out to Kyrie Irving, you need to get off his fucking back and go forward and prove each other's side query as to the claim in which you are making, because remember that claim belongs to who? The black man in his fullness, which I shall say comes true, the fullness of the gods themselves, the black woman's womb. So now we must now understand that it seems like it's more corporate than it is the matter of truth. We do not see the matter of truth to its manifestation that we should be looking for. You see what I'm saying? Rather than sitting up saying that it's anti-Semitic. Excuse me. How does a black man be anti-Semitic? If it is proven that black people are the oldest people on planet Earth and don't know exactly how old we really are, and we were the first to be here, and then you brought your hell and fire and garbage and barbaricness and barbarianness and all this different stuff and all this killing and murdering down on the people of Africa, how in the world can we be anti-Semitic is a huge question, because anti-Semitic is not based on uh, 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 the truth of the bloodline and therefore on. It is based on the fact of using it to protect oneself from those who may see or say something against something that they see is a lie, or they want to put to the test to saying this and saying that. Even when it comes to the Israelite brothers that we see out there, I understand you saying what you're saying as Israelite brothers, but you've got to prove it. You cannot just prove it by paper. You cannot just prove it by a book in your hand. You cannot just prove it by wearing your clothes and a regalia. You cannot just prove it by claiming words out of your mouth. You have to prove it wholeheartedly, genetically, all the way down the line. Same goes for the other side. They must prove of all these 100 years of you've done what you've done, even within Egypt's territory of all, and saying this and saying must prove that point is true. Because when we look at the scriptures that are written, it is not a narrative of African walk of life. It is European in its fullness. So therefore, it's not of Africanism, and that in which the Africans that you may have stolen of your race still does not prove anything, because that doesn't prove that that is what they were saying when they were doing what they were doing in the rituals of the hierarchy of the priests in Egypt. So we must look at that. You see? So we're moving on.